Welcome back to Game 2 here in this best of 3 between Darkside and Team Spirit. And Darkside making some pretty good strides towards that top 3 spot in the table, Trent.
Very important to win this series. And they've won a game. Yeah, they really need this. Again, if you have any hopes of heading to Lima, Peru, it's time to win. Get yourself a W here. So I'm already impressed so far. Currently not impressed. One big thumbs down to Mira's Primal Beast game because I didn't get a chance to add to the game, but that went for the worst Primal Beast game I've ever seen. Because it felt like he just couldn't do anything. I think, what did he complete? Ogre Axe Phase Boots? I'm pretty sure at the end of that game.
Yeah.
Hero doesn't do so hot when that's the situation.
Pretty rough against that Roger Ricky. Just smoke screen. Your hero is counted. What now? Can't do a damn thing.
It reminded me of Night Stalker when he's like, when I get my claws on that bird. That was him trying to much like Night Stalker can never quite catch that pesky rooster. Yeah, he couldn't catch that Ricky because the second you hear that sound cue, it's just tricks of the trade and leap away. I'm out of here.
Yeah, and even though the first, 6 or 7 minutes went very well for that top lane. Primal Beast, DP, they got a couple of kills, they killed tower, looked good. And then there was that waiting period of Collapse kind of wandering around with Exo ready, not able to push mid tower, forced into a fight bottom. It felt like the overarching map movements of Darkside were just much better, dragging Spirit away from where they wanted to be and towards places which were even trades, but that favored Darkside more.
It feels crazy to me too, because how on earth did they not take that mid? Like how did that not work out well for them? I guess it was just great kills on Laurel is what ended up happening. He died a few times when it was really inconvenient for the team, when they really needed to push through mid, and you would think that Laurel would have been quite strong and be the one who should be initiating those fights. Instead, he's dying to like 3 heroes rotating mid, sometimes even 4, and then they can't push. And so that delays Collapse and things are waiting out. And the whole time they're waiting for Yadro, but that's sort of Yadro's job this game. He's allowed to be the one that you're waiting for. These other 4 heroes, I can't believe that they were not able to get a mid tower, or at least some good pressure on that mid tower before the dart came out. And once the dart was there, things really fell apart.
It did. And yeah, I mean, thinking back to it, now my brain's had a chance to tick over a little bit. We talked about that Visage in the bottom lane. He got Vlad's, he got his Tranquils, and it was going to be difficult for Team Spirit to kick him out of that lane. But they went bot, they killed him, and it was like, oh, nice, they did it. But they committed 5 heroes. They committed Moonlight Shadow, like BKB, Haunt. They kill a Visage and maybe another hero or 2. They trade evenly. But if you're spending all that time and energy to stop a Visage from kind of just being a Visage, while instead you could have been top jungle, finding Lina, mid lane pushing the tower, it's getting sucked into the Darkside game plan more than executing and playing your own one.
Yeah, it's I don't know how to feel about it either. In terms of, like, I don't think you can ban it that early, but it was really solid. I feel like they're going to give up the Beastmaster. I think that they'll leave it in earlier in the draft and hope that he goes back to that.
I feel like
the enemy
I think Lesh especially is not worth a first phase ban here. Or what do you think? Because their bans previously were Brood Lesh, and then the Darkseer, Beastmaster, Clockwork, Doom, Enigma. I guess it depends on first picks and stuff, but
you'll feel really dumb if you lose the Lesh rack.
Yeah, or Brood.
Yeah,
like leaving Brood in is also one of those things where it doesn't feel like Collapse is a Brood player, right? So you're not leaving it in to trade, like to get Brood potentially.
Yeah, and that's a big problem right now because the hero feels really good.
I don't know. I feel like Darkside just ban Rubik, Magnus, no matter what. Like those are the bans you get against Team Spirit. Like looking back, Team Spirit's games, Rubik, Magnus banned, Magnus, Rubik banned by Nemiga, and again by Nemiga. Nemiga let Rubik through in one game because they had they had first pick to steal it. But pretty much every game is Rubik and Magnus, or one of those plus another hero in the first phase. You just don't want to let Spirit have both.
Not sure what's happening here, ladies and gentlemen. It's everyone's ready. Looks like we just have some issues starting the game. Not sure what's up. Perhaps one of the languages is not ready, but we're slowly getting there. We have 10 players. That's the most important thing, because that's when things get real dicey, when they're not there.
One player missing. Where have they gone?
Luckily, we have everyone's favorite quiz time here. What will Yadro play this game, as he's now knocked off the Spectre? Some of the top contenders for Yadro that still remain in this pool. I don't think he's played Terrorblade. Bit of a classic Yadro. kind of there. Phantom Assassin, another classic, not there. So maybe we'll get that. Has he even played Drow? He hasn't even played Drow. Okay,
No.
yeah, he's got a lot of heroes to go. Maybe we don't have a good little pop quiz here.
Yeah, what about like Faceless Void as well? Has that popped up yet?
No, he's got all the cool heroes left.
So what has he had? He's had Monkey Ursa, CK Naga, Troll Ursa, PL, Tiny, Lifestealer Spectre.
Yep. Wow, we've got a lot of viable ones these days, huh?
Oh, Luna, Morphling. Yeah, I mean, there's
Mhm,
quite a few out there for him to grab. Slark has just been permanently banned against him, though, so that always feels bad.
Yeah, that's fair.
It was ignored in the last game, though, wasn't it? Not picked or banned.
No, I think it was. Didn't we mention it and it was banned? Oh wait, maybe it wasn't. Maybe we just mentioned it wasn't banned yet. I think you're right, actually.
Yeah, it was,
Speaking of heroes and bans, there's actually still 4 heroes uncontested, not picked or banned in the entirety of the DPC. Do you have any idea of whose those could be?
I want to say Warlock.
Yeah, correct. Warlock is one of them. Very good.
That's because he's one of my favorite heroes, and I'm always sad when he's not picked. The
Okay,
other
yep.
ones I'm less sure of. I'm going to guess like Venomancer.
No, not quite. He's only had 1 pick and 2 bans though, so
Okay.
not a terrible guess.
Let me scroll through. Has Venge been picked?
She's gotten some love. She's had 3 whole games and 1 ban.
Shadow Shaman.
No, yeah. Why hasn't he picked more? He's only had 3 picks though, but he's won all 3 games, so clearly a
tell
good
me
hero.
the answers.
Just saying.
I give up.
Okay,
I've
well
had
you got
my chance.
Meepo. That's a bit of a
Yeah.
freebie.
Oh,
Not
right.
picked or banned on the Meepo. Clinks not picked or banned. That one's a little surprising. I feel like that hero's kind of good.
No one's entering the bone zone.
No one's buying Shadowblade and doing the meme build from Reddit that we all saw the clip for. And then we got Bristleback, which I mean that hero's such a trap in pubs. Please don't pick that hero. And then there are 2 heroes that have also only been banned and not picked, and that's Axe and Oracle.
Oh.
10 seconds
Yeah.
remaining.
Kind of surprised about the Axe.
Yeah, Axe is the surprising one there.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll get it. Maybe Collapse will show us some Axe now in this game, as the draft for Game 2 looks like it is underway.
And yeah, I gotta say, after how many? We're at what 200? How many matches are we in here right now? Let's see. 242 matches so far. In Division 1. Stacks up fast, those games. And I mean, it is kind of set, like, I don't know, I feel like the meta is very condensed right now. More condensed than usual at this point. I feel like we have the heroes that we see, and I feel like there's a pretty steep drop-off towards that middle of the table compared to perhaps some previous DPCs. Do you feel that way at all?
Radiant team pick.
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking, there's like 30 heroes that have like 10 picks or less. Okay, more than 30. It's a lot. It's like 40 heroes.
And it's, especially when it's spread across all regions, right?
Yeah.
Like, usually we see, some regions have a bit of flavor there. They're picking this, especially weird hero here or there. But it feels like, now we've got a lot of mainstay heroes of like, Hoodwink and stuff like that are always going to get grabbed by a position 4. I think everyone's had practice time to kind of learn the specialist heroes.
Well, it's going to be the specialist, the big hero, the number 1 DP, as our bans are shifted a little bit to get rid of the Lena instead of that last rack. So
yeah,
not going to be a concern here. The number 1 ranked hero statistically is Huskar, thanks to his 16 bans and 1 pick being a win. So that hero's owning, but right after him, Lena has been the most contested in terms of just like seeing that value. She only has a 54% win rate, to be fair, but we all know how strong the hero can be. That's not really the main reason why you're so afraid of her being there. But DP's been looking great every time we see it. Obviously didn't win the last game, but Darkside, they know that doesn't mean much in terms of the hero's overall strength, and they're still fully willing to pick it up first overall and try and find some better momentum that Collapse was not able to get in the previous engagements.
Spirit taking their sweet time with this response to it. Another Mirana for them. Are they going to grab the Tusk again, though? They did a lot of that flexibility. Could be 4, could be mid, and there it is. No big changes for Spirit in the opening to their draft.
It does make sense, but at the same time, wasn't a W. But I mean, I get it. You can't throw at everything just because you lost 1 game.
Is it clockwork time?
Radiant team back.
You know what's really funny is if you go to the the stats of Dota 2 Pro Tracker of who Death Prophet has done the worst versus in top tier pubs, the number one hero is actually Bristleback.
Really?
Who is 7-1 versus Death Prophet this week, and then Warlock, who's 21-6.
10 seconds.
So maybe
remaining.
the reason why Death Prophet is owning is clearly her
Team
counters are
spirits
non-existent.
turn to
That is
ban.
not being picked.
With a
I mean, what-
combined 28-7, if you put those two together, I mean, we just gotta pick Bristleback and Warlock, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Fatal Bonds is a pretty powerful spell. Chaotic Offering is like the same cooldown as Exo, so you just use it on her when
And
she
she
pops
lost
hers.
the percentage base versus
10
Soul, so that
seconds.
matchup's
Yeah.
kind of turned around compared to how it used to be.
True.
That's
5
pretty funny.
seconds remaining.
Yeah, we'll go right back for an Ember. Back at it again.
Yeah, why not? Did very well in the previous game. And Rebel showed off some serious skills.
Radiant team ban.
Yeah, Ricky Ban. I was just about to say, it's Ricky Ban time. Don't let Roger get his hands on that. Go.
So last game it was Darkside was first pick on. Wait, they were Dire, right? Am I crazy? Yeah, they were Dire.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they just went up with now they're going to be first pick Radiant instead, and Team Spirit's going to be second pick Dire. So
10
it's still going to be the same
seconds
format at the
remaining.
end. It's still going to be this ability for them to get the last pick for either Yadro, presumably,
5
or
seconds remaining.
maybe Laurel. So likely Yadro. We're going to guess probably, but see.
And this Ricky ban means there are fewer ban slots for the offlane heroes, so DK Fogo is going to get a wider pool of heroes to choose from. Always feels nice. But I guess it's going to be the DP for the offlane, right?
Maybe. I mean, it could just be a 5. Like the flex is there. This would be like I don't think he was getting DP, was he, when they were losing those games? I feel like let me double check here, but I feel like I don't remember seeing a lot of DK Fogo's DP. They
I don't
won a
think
game
so,
with
yeah.
DP and Beastmaster when they threw the DP mid, of course. And that was back on the DK Fogos Beast. But yeah, they did beat Navi with a Death Prophet with the Darkseer on the side.
Spirits turn to ban.
Or Darkside, Darkside. But yeah, no DK Fogos DP quite yet.
Yeah. I guess there's no flexibility from 3 to 2. Like Ember's mid, Death Prophet. Yeah, I think you're right. The only place to put her is like a 5. So we're probably going to be looking for our 2
10
supporters in that next
seconds
phase from Darkside. And what's Roger's hero pool like recently?
5
Because I feel like
seconds
he's one of those guys that can pull out, sneaky Earth Spirits from time to time, but it's very majority of the time just being like
Yeah.
Flock, Ricky.
Radiant
Well, they relied
team
pretty
ban.
heavily on
Tiny?
the Darkseer earlier in the season, and so he was playing those Tinies and Spirit Breakers, and then he's played a little bit more of the ranged ones like the Maranas. Clockwork is still there as well, which it looks like they've used that there too,
10 seconds remaining.
which is a pretty good combo with the Death Prophet. That
5
would be a
seconds
solid
remaining.
ban, I think, for Team Spirit if they want to actually, give DK Fogos his Death Prophet, because surely your 3-player can play it, right? One would think.
Surely.
Of course, then again, why not just go Beastmaster and then you have a really nice pushing tempo? DP mid, Ember mid, or DP. Oh, yeah, wait. Then we have to do like Ember safe lane or DP safe lane. Never mind. I guess it could be DP5, and yeah, as you were saying before, but
Yeah, I think it's just easier to look at this as DP3,
Team
Ember 2.
spirits turn
Let's hope.
to ban.
An Ench ban. Interesting. I was starting to look at collapse heroes and wondering, are we going to see the Centaur come out? It's been ignored so far. Pangoliera's out there as a 2 or a 3, depending on where Team Spirit want to put this Tusk.
10
There's also the
seconds
collapse
remaining.
Snapfire. There's a potential.
ooh, that'd be
Having-
hype.
5 seconds
Like, having a
remaining.
huge amount of burst damage against a DP always feels incredibly good. And when she's naturally tanky, buys Greaves. When she pops Exo, you kind of want to kill her as quickly as possible or just run away. So, I guess having double escapes with Tusk and Mirana, having leaps and blinks and snowballs to save you feels good, but I want more damage to be added to this slippery control duo they've got so far.
Yeah, hard to fit in like
Team
the Centaur
Spirits
as well here
turn to
for Team
pick.
Spirit, I think, unless you do like the 4 Marana and the 5 Tusk. Then it sort of works, but they will still ban the Beastmaster because it is his go-to hero for DK Fogos, and you can really turn up the tempo if things start going well in the laning stage. It's probably the one he's most comfortable on in the laning stage as well. But there it is. You snap. Nice call. Very
This
good
is-
hero indeed.
This is where Darkside picked Timbersaw. Just pick a Timber and run at people. Put your
Could be a little bit
DP5.
spooky.
10
think so?
seconds remaining.
It can be all right. It's a little bit of match
seconds
damage, though,
remaining.
you know? I
Nice.
think, what would I like if I was Darkside here? I mean, honestly, I just want this Death Prophet to be core. I really hope it
Radiant
is.
team picked.
It should be, right? That's like Roger Tiny with a DP in lane. That's a really solid lane duo. So now we're just kind of looking at the safe lane combo here. And it's going to be another Sineko Lich, leaving Ramsey's hero to the end. So it's probably just a straightforward draft here from Darkside, right? Not changing too many of the mechanisms that they've been playing recently.
It is just crazy, though. This will be the first time he plays DP, though. You know what I mean? Like, they've left it in so many drafts. They
10 seconds
just kept
remaining.
losing to the hero and giving up first pick. Their last 4 losses have been
5 seconds
versus
remaining.
DP. Batboom first picked it, Batboom first picked it, Virtus Pro first picked it, Virtus Pro first picked it, and they lost all 4 of those games. So, I mean, again, we talk about how it seems like they've had a drafting change in philosophy of giving a later pick to DK Fogus. So maybe another part of their philosophy is just like, okay, we need to like do something about this DP.
Yeah, it's like we late pick DK Fogus unless there's a DP and we first pick it.
Yeah.
And take it as quickly as possible.
Especially because it was also DP Ember they lost both games to versus Virtus Pro. So it's kind of funny that now
Radiant team
they go
back.
Ember game 1, now Ember game 2. And, hero they've tried in the past as well. Speaking of borrowing, the Nature's Prophet, and that's probably Yadaro's hero.
I would imagine
Unless this is a Laurel Snap and a Collapse NP.
10 seconds remaining.
Is there any world which we see Prophet supports anymore? They've all
5
been cores,
seconds
right?
remaining.
Team spirits.
True.
turn to
That
There
is
was a
possible.
time we used to see
Yeah,
the
it was a good
Prophet
5. It was a good 5 when the trees were really broken. But
Oh,
now
the
the trees aren't quite as broken.
with the shard as well. Yeah, you're right.
And they just had way more damage, too. They just did a stupid amount of damage.
Yeah. And it probably feels way better here going the Prophet Orchid build against Ember DP.
10 seconds remaining.
That could be solid, yeah. Well,
Might still
Darkside
just
there.
be
5
Midas
seconds
Maelstrom, though.
remaining.
Yeah, they're just banning for collapse heroes in case it's just the 4 snap, the Laurel Tusk.
Radiant team back.
All right, that's the annoying thing. Like
Morphing.
Mirror's Snap is
Team
incredible as well, isn't it?
spirits Turn to
Yeah,
ban.
very good snap. They just commit hard to banning the offlanes. They don't care. They say, you know, I'm sure it's probably an offlane hero. I'm not going to worry too much about it. If I was collapse, I would want to have a better a way to be mobile. I think Centaur looks okay actually. 4 snap,
seconds
Centaur 3,
remaining.
Tusk mid, Prophet 1. Centaur versus
5
DP, I think
seconds
feels
remaining.
pretty good a lot of the times because sometimes you can bail out of a bad engagement when the exorcism's popped. I feel like Collapse likes that hero. Yeah, I like Centaur.
Radiant
But of course,
team
we'll
picked.
get to find out. You know, we're gonna get the last pick here
Team
from Ramsey to see
spirits
just how
turn to
really good of a game it is, and talk about Terrorblade coming into this. Darkside gonna grab it for themselves.
Yeah, looking pretty good. Yeah, I mean, looking at the other offlane heroes, I mean, Mars doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look spectacular. I think you're right. Centaur's at the top of the heap.
10 seconds remaining.
We haven't seen Collapse play much of like Panga or anything
5
like that.
seconds
And with
remaining.
Doom, Legion, DK, Darkseer, Beastmaster all being banned out, there's not that many remaining. Where's Razor
They
gone?
could Timber.
The Primal
You
Beast.
may now
Beast.
select your heroes.
All right, let me
So-
see who's playing what here. Collapse is taking the
Beast.
beast. Okay.
Laurel Snap,
Laurel
you were
Snap.
right.
All
Yeah.
right, interesting. The Laurel Snap is definitely better with the Terrorblade because you have the magic burst, right? Instead of the physical burst, which is kind of a cool dynamic between the Tusk and the Snap. So, like, whichever one you put on core, you're essentially emphasizing that type of damage. And the magic is pretty solid here versus both the DP and the Terrorblade. I feel like DP gets into some pretty decent armor later on, too. So, big magic burst can be pretty helpful.
What's the mid snap build nowadays anyway? Is it still
That's a great
going to
question.
Ags or?
I think if you have a good Ags partner, you do. And he does have a Tusk and a Primal Beast. So that looks pretty
Yeah.
good. Obviously, the Shard build with like the Blink and stuff died once we lost the stun, and it became this whole skip and a hoppity Shard instead.
The Lava Leap.
Yeah. Ooh, man, it should be called that. It should be a separate ability. Give her 2 jumps. Now that would be fun.
Yeah.
Of course, then that's an Ags. And you're getting a little intense at that point.
Yeah, I really don't know. Do we just commit for like a right-click snap? Go for your like Maelstrom build with a little shredder maxed out?
So currently the most popular mid builds in top tier pubs. I don't see any from Laurel. Yeah, and I'm looking through here, but a lot of them have been attempting a mid build. Let's see here with Maelstrom. We've seen Squadix tried it with just straight up Greaves. He just went Greaves mid.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, Cube did Shard and Eggs. So still just kind of like spellcaster style. Aincrad, legend of the region, of course. He went for a Chrysalis Deso build. He went Bots, Shard, Chrysalis Deso. Wow, that's a pretty wild build. He did lose.
That's the thing. I kind of feel like the physical damage route is pretty good for you, but we can see down at the bottom of the screen, the odds haven't really shifted that much, have they? Has actually gotten worse for Darkside. Like 1.5 to 2.3 again, even with a one-game lead here in this best of 3.
Well, Team Spirit are known for not winning that first game, I guess, at this point. So they just assume that they're going to drop one game and win the other 2.
It is known. The Beast Coast effect.
Ah, yeah, that's exactly what I said earlier, actually. I was thinking about Bet Boom to my wife, and I was like, they always throw game 2 when Bet Boom would lose. It's just like Beast Coast. Yeah, ready. Well, everyone's going to go to their respective lanes here. And we'll see if Rebel can close this out in 2. It would be a surprise, I would say, if Darkside can do it. It is, again, as we said previously, very much necessary if they want any hopes of going to Peru and feeling good about their current standings to win this series.
Yeah, and even outside of that, like a 2-0 victory against Team Spirit is a massive morale boost, especially with the start of the season Darkside have had. Getting a 2-0 victory here is like, right, we can do this. We're solid now. Figured out all our drafting issues. Got our execution down pat, looking solid. Top lane looks like it's going to be Yatoro and Miposhka. Yeah, Nature's Prophet Tusk together. Mira on that Mirana with Collapse down bottom. So Mirana and Primal Beast against a tiny DP. Lane swaps from Darkside.
Yeah, they're doing the old the EG style. Putting the Terror Blade and the Radiant off lane. Feeling better about the situation up here. Laning into a Nature's Prophet who's all physical damage. And then doesn't really hurt you as badly as the big magic burst that you're going to get out of a Primal Beast lane. So, very logical decision here. Let's see if Team Spirit want to try and match this at all, or if they're just comfortable with this setup just because it's pretty easy to control that top area with the treants. And Seneko can't, like, draw the waves or anything. So if Aboshka manages to get a decent pull-off, it's going to be kind of hard for them to contest.
Yeah, like, Seneko's not an Earth Spirit or a Tusk or a Ricky or something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Boschke can just make sure this large camp is blocked. He will have to come back and deward his small camp, though, to get some pulls going. Seneko has a sentry ward placed very nicely inside the camp. Yeah, we'll see what Yatra can do. We saw Ramses earlier on in the season using this Prophet to very effectively drag waves and kind of create pockets of farm where he's a little safer than actually naturally in the lane.
Yeah, that was like his best hero for a long time. It felt like so hard to deal with him. I think that was in the previous DPC as well, where Ramses would go for that and just really solid at controlling the pace of the game, showing up, taking down those towers. It's just an accelerated version of these other lanes in which they try it.
And Lol is hammering this mid lane, keeping my eyes on there, doing a tremendous amount of damage to this Ember Spirit and out-CSing him 2-1, basically. This attack speed slow on Scatterblast. I didn't realize how strong it was. Oh, Yatoro top. Oh, so close to death, but hides in the trees. DK Fogus loses his courier down bottom to Mira's Mirana. The Darkside in this top lane applying a fair amount of pressure with the first Metamorphosis use of the game.
Yeah, pretty difficult, I would imagine, to get a kill with the meta. When you have a Lich as your teammate, it would require a pretty significant overextension. I'm surprised it was even that close on Yatoro, to be honest. Maybe he was just playing like right to the limit or something, knowing that there wasn't that much control to stack up. Level 2 Flame Guard here for Rebel allows him to get a little bit of safety and some pressure, as Laurel doesn't have the ability to break it after something's been spent.
Yeah, we'll start to catch up on the CS. I'm curious to see what Lal starts to build. He's just got a stick and some mangoes coming out after that bottle early on. I wish he.
I kind of like the idea of him getting Greaves, I think.
Seneko. Fairy fires up. Ramses throws the reflection onto this Prophet and Tusk, but the body blocks with these treants are incredibly irritating. Yeah, not a completely free lane here from Darkside. Just a matter of dragging the wave back now from Imposter, as it looks like he has managed to get himself that small camp available again. First blood grabbed by Collapse. Primal Beast and Mirana. Right on top of that Tiny.
But yeah, it is going to be all about Laryl's items, though. I think you're right. Like, it determines so much of how they are able to play this game. Like, does he go the Greaves Ags, or does he try and get more physical damage in this? Like, does he just go bots into Ags? I feel like the Greaves could be really solid, but then again, like, having the bots to pair with the Nature's Prophet could also be really strong. But you have an offlaner who's not building auras, and most offlaners are building auras right now because they just seem incredibly strong. We group up, we push, but Primal Beast can't easily afford that build because of his reliance on the BKB.
Yeah, I guess it's a situation where Lala is just going to be looking at the game state like 10, 12 minutes in, right? And thinking, hey, we're behind. I should go Greaves so we can actually match and fight what Darkside are bringing. Or, hey, we're ahead and we're stomping. I'm going to buy a Daedalus first item.
Yeah, will be a tough call there. Misses the cookie by the looks of it, did. Try to pressure on the Rebel.
He got it on the range creep. I don't think he cared about hitting Ember Spirit, but he secured range creep with it.
I got here seeing a shifting and a missed cookie.
Yeah.
So that explains it, yeah.
I can see how it looked like, you know, Rebel dodged it with a sleight of fist, but nah, Lala just looking for the last hit security. Bottom lane, not looking too good for Darkside, though. 16 last hits on the DP.
Oh, Laryl.
Pushed on the tower.
He just glyphs it while he's pressuring on the tower. He cookied a creep into him before, too.
Super irritating. Jump in from Mirror Bottom. Star Storm landing on Roger twice. Collapse getting siphoned, but he's a tanky beast. I should be able to come back in and kill Roger here.
Neko? Top?
No, he's not going for it. It's Neko, yeah, trading out his life from Miposhka. And now the dive bottom tier 1. Tramples there, but replaced by the Avalanche and the toss now under this tier 1 tower. Collapse taking a lot of damage. In jumps Mirror, doesn't have the mana for Starstorm, has to pop the wand for it. Now out of leap charges, gets a Starstorm off, but it lands on DK Fogus. Doesn't kill off Roger. Incredibly close fought battle there. As mid lane, we get a TP in from Imposhka. Okay, looks like just a bottle refill. No opportunity to jump Rebel's Ember just yet. But every lane, action-packed is bottom lane again. Onto the Mirana with the Avalanche. DK Fogus still alive. They lost their Tiny. Mirana down, but the 2 position 3s now fighting it out.
Oh, he waited for so long with that Fairy Fire too, but the Tiny eventually gets him. I guess the Tiny and the DP, at least he got the Tiny first, but we all just trade back, and the Tusk went mid to fill the bottle. Now Roger goes mid to fill the bottle as well for Rebel. Such is the life of the Dota player mid.
I feel like this entire game is super on edge. Everyone's looking for these little openings, looking for that little weakness they can exploit. But at almost 2k lead, just saw it drop from 2 to 1 for Team Spirit 6 minutes in. Every one of their cores is farming incredibly well.
They have significant leads over all their counterparts in the core department. It's like 500 to 400 gold, separating each of the 1, 2, and 3.
It's pretty scary for Darkside. And now we've got Miposhka up top with a hasted Snapfire behind him. The Cookie and the Scatter Blast should make short work of Suneko here. And this will probably boot Ramses out of the lane. They're pushing this tier 1 tower very quickly with a Nature's Prophet. And Miposhka's even lurking. Got the snowball into kisses. Doesn't have shards for 4 more seconds, but Ramses is level 4. He's just being blasted and burned. In comes Lol for a final touch with a Scatter Blast and grabs himself a double kill. Now the tower is dead for sure.
I love that too. Miposhka just holding it that whole time just in case something else came by, or they maybe they're just set up on the Laryl, always keeping those ice shards in play. And he punches the courier too.
Oh, the DP courier dead. So they bring Ember Spirit up here to make sure tower doesn't die, but it looks like the next push when that comes around. TP from Yatoro collapses in on top of them with the onslaught. Pushes him around. Roger's about to be pounded into the ground. And Yatoro's TP down here gets him involved in these kills, cracks level 6, and now he's gone from pushing top tier 1 to within an inch of its life to maybe even down bottom.
Ramses?
Oh, the Wrath of Nature.
He had the meta there just in case. I mean, he has max Scatterblast. I don't want to be anywhere near that Snapfire right now if I am Terrorblade. But yeah, one of the worst situations, right? They go on Collapse, all the TPs come through defensively, turn around kills for a Primal Beast before he's really got anything going.
Oh, he's still dying? He went to the large camp. Mirror and Miposhka, they are camping him in the jungle.
That is a big problem. TK Fogos, surprisingly not the one to take his tower, as Rebel has rotated up here and is doing it on the Ember, as they do not have the Exorcism quite yet on the Death Province. So they're going to be looking for that first Exorcism to take the mid tower and try and stabilize this game. Because if they end up losing their mid tower right now, that space for Ramses just gets smaller and smaller.
Yeah, it feels like this game is slipping out of Darkside's hands very quickly.
Can they defend? They got to defend this tower.
They're TPing mid. Rebel level 7. But a cookie away and Miposhka gets them out of danger. No toss back play for Roger. And Mira on this right-hand side. They're waiting for the Tiny to wander over here. Miposhka sees him trying to bait up to the staircase. But a snowball arrow. Chain stun into what? Leap Star Storm. That should be enough to finish him. Mira will look to claim the kill on the Tiny as Miposhka is being whacked around by Rebel's Ember Spirit. Tiny finally dying with another leap forward, but now Mira stuck behind tier 1 while the Ember Remnants forward. Miposhka does get burnt alive. And Marana slipping away from the grasp of Seneko. So it looks like Spirit can continue to gather up and push out mid.
Radiant's middle tower is under
I
attack.
think unless they get back here really quick with Rebel, he does have an Orb of Corrosion. He just like fully purchases everything up there. A big boost to his power.
Radiant's
Will it be enough to actually contest this mid tower though? They are bringing everyone here to try and save this.
I do not want to let this go without a fight. But both their side lane towers have now died. With the Athro pushing up top and able to TP mid in a couple of seconds. So Spirit, now the ones, game 1 we were talking about how well Darkside did, just drawing the attention of key heroes into awkward places on the map.
Look at this Terrorblade. 500 HP under a ward. 30 more seconds till Wrath of Nature though.
They're going on the DP instead. Exo is up, Miposhka snowballs forward, then runs away. And they knew reinforcements are coming.
Oh, Gary, if he starts killing these ancients under a ward, you can legitimately die. You can actually die to a Wrath of Nature.
Oh, Ramses.
Like, it could just be Wrath of Nature and kisses from across the map could just kill you. Like, you can definitely get like a 500 damage nuke if he times it well.
And Miposhka smoked. He's going to go up there and give the control that they need. They do have an observer ward in front of Roche, so they see
Alright, there goes the Wrath.
But they didn't see the snowball forward. Ramses blown up, and you called it. Long-range artillery strike just covering that ancient area in shrapnel and burnt ground.
Seneko immediately dewards. Meanwhile, down bottom though.
Oh, attempted cookie mid, nearly catches Ember. But this really is Team Spirit with a scorched earth policy. Wherever they go, it is just fire everywhere.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Nice move. I love that play from Miposhka though. It's set like knowing just that little bit of setup makes it so much easier to get that kill into the Terrorblade. Tower gone. Space is being squeezed here by Team Spirit. It's gonna force a smoke out now of Rebel and Seneko. Pair up with Roger.
So I know last game you asked me a very pointed question about comebacks and who I think could win, and I gave you a very dull answer of anyone at any time can do anything they want to. This game feels like it's kind of over.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities to the previous match in terms of the Death Prophet problems of like not getting those big objectives and consistently with the Exorcism. 7x here according to our sponsors over there, EGB. So that's I mean I don't blame them. It's about that difficult.
Yeah, so not quite it's over odds. Once it gets to 9 or 10 to 1, that's when we can start thinking about that kind of scenario. But Darkside with a lot of work to do. And now they've got Chain Frost. Now Orb of Corrosion, you said, on Rebel, going to be amplifying their damage nicely as well. They're trying to farm through their own bottom jungle, and they're scouted. The Chain stuns with the Walrus Punch arrow, but the Frost Shield is there. A good Chain Frost bounces onto Mira, but leaping across the trees as Collapse doesn't connect. Couldn't pulverize Rebel quite in time. So they'll get Seneko instead. Collateral kill. And Lol now dominating. With his arcanes and mech ready, they can keep on moving forward.
Yeah, I like that decision. The shard's interesting too. I have a hard read on this shard. I'm not sure how the hop distance does get kind of crazy. Sometimes it looks so incredible, and other times it just feels like it's almost harder to execute with.
Does it improve trample? Because he's moving, right?
You know what? I actually don't know that interaction 100%.
Yeah.
Probably.
It's probably really good with a funnel boost, I would say. Yeah, get people away from a slight chains or a tiny trying to toss you back. Looking at Roger now, he's still a grand away from his blink dagger, so needs to be given a lane somewhere, but there just aren't lanes to be had. Rebel's cutting waves bottom.
Ramses is very brave. If he was scouted right now at 400 HP again, you know, if there's any vision, you just die.
You're telling me that
Like, he could literally die on this wave.
Rebel TPing home, but pulverized. It doesn't have a remnant either, so he just dies. That's the tip from Yatoro. But are you telling me a Terrorblade who buys Hand of Midas is brave, Trent?
Well, it is the Ramses special. This is why Ramses and GBK on the team didn't work, because they kept both buying Midas.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. Needs a way to catch up, though. And level-wise, Darkside down in the dumps, it feels like.
Dire's middle
All right, here we go. He's on a dire ward. 430 HP. Quick maths.
Oh, God.
Tusk, hurry. I want to kill him.
DK Focus up top.
Oh, no. Collapse is coming.
They found the DP top.
There's the ulti. It's going.
Ramsey's about to die bottom. Kisses up top on the DP, kill her off. And Collapse in Viz. With this Moonlight Shadow, he really wants Ramses.
I'm shocked he's not charging right now. Come on, Collapse.
Where are you?
Oh, he sees him. He sees him going to the ward.
Now. But it's moving top faster, though. Team Spirit on top of the Lich. Blow him up. And this map is getting incredibly small.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
$9K lead now. Yep. It's definitely looking like one way or another we're gonna hit some meme numbers here. 3 to 14. We're well prepped for a couple different entries on the old meme score index.
We had one last night. 5 rat against Shopify Rebellion. It was
Perfect.
like
Perfect.
25-minute game. I don't know. This Yatoro Prophet is just getting out of hand now. 10k net worth on him. Gleipnir pretty much done. What does he need? He needs 1,000 gold for it to be finished. Mirror might get picked mid though. Chains in the tiny combo. And the Sinister Gaze. 5 heroes to kill a support Mirana.
Kind of lived surprisingly long there, didn't he?
Yeah.
Almost
What's
getting worse.
he got? He's got a hood. That's why. Pipe rush
That's a great
Mirana.
choice. That's nice, right? You're covering the
Radiant's
auras
bottom
that your
tower
offlaner
is
usually
under
buys,
attack.
since Collapse on the Primal Beast and has a different role here between your mid and your off lane. And they'll just take a kill on Seneko, while Rebel, you can just throw out some damage and jump away.
Radiant
Ramsey is back into a position on the map he thinks is safe. They do have that high ground observer ward watching for anyone coming from the north, but Miposhka, Vlal, and Mira. It looks like they're angling down towards bottom lane again. And Collapse has been spotted. Roger doesn't want to give away a freebie. He's 100 gold away from his blink dagger.
That's
so
Humbler
dying here.
toy.
Radiant
Oh, feels really bad if Roger falls. Does get a good avalanche out now. Yatoro TPing in as DK Focus. A backstab with the Exorcism. 2-man Spirit Siphon. Lull very close to death, but pops the Greaves. Can he cookie away? It's on cooldown, so he can't escape. Big onslaught with a trample, though. 4 heroes being slammed down by the Primal Beast. And DK Focus netted up and rooted by the Gleipnir of Yatoro. Trapped in the Sprout, but incredibly tanky still. Dodges the arrow. 3 heroes lost by Darkside. Spirit just had to spend the life of their mid laner. They're going to catch a 4th as Roger in the tree line. Wasn't safe at all. And the DP stepped outside of her base, so 5-man wipe incoming.
Collapse. Friendly Roar, not so much. He soloed the Terrorblade as well. He's the only one that did damage, so that's going to be a big boost to Collapse, who's level 12 and more than 12 and a half right now. Yeah, he does have a BKB and 1,200 gold.
Radiant's bottom
After an
tower
engagement
is
like
under
that,
attack.
picked up a cool 767 by the looks of our fight recap here, and did almost 4,000 damage himself. So rightfully deserved credits.
Wow.
For what he did.
So there he goes. Straight back into the war zone. Roger has his blink and tries to show it off with a 2-man avalanche toss. The support's getting caught up here, and Rebel, he's got a choice to make. Mira, the one he wants to snag first, as Miposhka trying a sneaky TP.
Oh
Away he
my
goes.
goodness.
Radiant's middle
The
tower is under
50-50. Could have
attack.
went left or right. He chose correctly. Rebel did not, of course.
Thankful for nighttime there, the Tusk is.
Yep. All right, so now we did have one other game, if I recall correctly, of a Ramses Morphling. of which it was fairly similar circumstance, where the game was, it looked over. It looked completely over, and Ramses was able to make the comeback. As up top, oh, that cookie. Ooh, that's nice. Well. I don't know. It's much harder to do on Terrorblade, I would say. Terrorblade's really good at controlling the waves compared to Morphling, but his actual fight, it feels like it requires a lot more assistance. Morphling does it himself. You know, he just becomes the beast. Terrorblade is still going to need control and assistance from his allies to get that damage out. And Ember's a good hero for that. So, well, maybe we can get there. It's going to take a lot of work.
It's going to take a lot of time as well, but if Team Spirit go diving too far like this, a couple of freebies here and there for Ramsey could pay off big time. Kisses launched out towards the TB. They see where he is, and the onslaught lands the trample and the pulverize. Now moving on to another try to DK Focus. Chain Frost thrown, but the BKB for the final beast is making such an easy fight here for Team Spirit. Ram's not going to give safety to the Ember Spirit. The arrow is dodged, but I don't know about this. Spirit are diving tier 4s. Another 5-man wipe. Another massive victory. And it just doesn't feel like there's any recourse for Darkside.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Oh, nice drop salve even for Collapse here. Thank you very much. Yeah, Collapse kind of crushing these fights, and well, as you can see in that one though, a lot of the credit goes to Yadro. And he just got to stand and deliver for a lot of that fight. And oh, it looks like it's Eggs on the way, huh? For our Snapfire, so gonna be able to send Collapse in even further in these fights. Toss up there onto Yadro. He would be an amazing kill, but he's not easy.
Yeah, Cookie to high ground, beautifully placed. And now the arrow to connect on the DP. Keeps her locked in place for now. Naposhka went for the snowball forward, but with his Moonlight Shadow, they will retreat. Roger has blinked aggressively towards the Tusk. Chucks him back to the Terrorblade. Good shards. Attempted arrow, but Naposhka's Tusk. Wait, does he have blink on Tusk? He doesn't, right? Nah, 700 away, so just a snowball to delay his death. And an immediate flyback to fight around Roshan. They do not want to give this to Darkside.
Oh, that was
Rosh
so close.
The arrow. TV would have died there.
Imagine if he could have bashed arrow. That would be so funny. Yeah, I'd be running away too after that.
I don't know what you're up to. For a backstab. The Terrorblade's dead. Now a snowball to DK Focus. Covering fire. Blow up the Death Prophet. And every time they step out on the map, it just feels like, oh my god, the Lich just dies to the freaking Mortimer's kisses. And now it's Roshan time for Team Spirit.
Radiant's middle tower.
Sometimes you just get hit by 9 Mortars and die. Roger also found.
Is another team wipe coming? I mean, Ember's alive, but everybody else is dying.
For how long, you know?
This is where Team Spirit 5-man TB bot, right? Go kill the Ember Spirit. Oh my god, Yatoro is pinging.
You joke. You joke.
Here we go. Oh, I knew it was coming. Chain stun. Oh, I nearly said perfect because it almost was. Rebel barely scrapes away with his life, but it means that Roshan has not been taken.
Never refuse.
Hey, he found 2 bounties. That's pretty hype. And back to Roche.
Classic Team Spirit.
Strats. Look at these strats. Ice shards the Roche away from Yadro. When the previous setup, he actually couldn't hit Yadro. While Roche was close up a tag team. I mean,
nice.
Big gamer energy. Yeah.
Ah, some special tech.
Marl doesn't want to be here. He just wants to go farm his eggs.
And what does Spirit see? They saw the Ember and the DP moving bottom. They know Terrorblade is on the wave bot.
Yeah.
Collapse is just gonna walk up here. Does he have to BKB? He's holding it. Realizes that he's tanking up without. And now with a Sprout, the light in the air, dispelled up, but the onslaught trample back onto DK Focus. Death Prophet down. And now it is scramble time for Darkside. Try and TP, try and blink. Extricate yourself from this awful spot you're in. But Mortimer.
All right, ready? Ready? Mira hits this. Oh! Oh, he's so good! He's so good at Dota! Oh, you thought.
That was a sitter, come on.
Oh my.
It just feels like it's an easy game for Spirit. They're having a lot of fun with this. 8-33. Not a chance in hell for Darkside's cause to play the map. Like, even when we get BKB on Ember Spirit, and it looks like BKB on the Terrorblade, which they desperately need, I still feel like they're going to be lacking damage.
You 7 vision for 1 second, there's just this ping. It's this ominous ping on your hero, and then you're dead. Like, it's just, he has like clearly illusion. They send in the snap illusion.
Oh, they've got the Ember too! Oh, that's wait.
Right, let it go,
Can
let
we
it
see
go.
the odds now? The odds are going to be like
Just call
10 to 1, 11 to 1, right?
Has fallen.
Hey,
Give me
it's
20 to
over.
1, I'm not taking it.
Give me 100 to 1, I'm not taking it.
No.
This game's been over for, I don't know, a good, at least 10 minutes, it feels like. GG's all called around, and Team Spirit tying things up 1-1. This was more like it from them.
Oof. Tied him up in a pretty little bow right there, I'd have to say. That was like a pretty easy McSqueezy game there from Team Spirit. Where did it all go wrong? Ladies and gentlemen, for Darkside.
They picked DP, apparently.
Yeah, I
These
guess. I
teams-
don't know.
These teams have figured out DP. Just let her push one tower, then don't let her do anything else.
TK Foe got struggles return. Felt like a pretty much a non-factor in this game. I mean, to be fair, it's not like the other cores really felt like much of a factor either. Team Spirit just crushing the mid as well as the off lane. Felt like, you couldn't play as Ramses. I shouldn't say the off lane. Ramses as the off lane, that is. Their own safe lane. That matchup there went extremely well for them. And their first moves just all went great. The level 6 snap play that killed Ramses up top, excellent. I think it was like level 8 when he killed Ramses in the Ancient. It's great. Had no punish on the Snapfire mid. And Darkside not able to get this support duo working either. Roger, of course, big difference between last game to this one on that Tiny. It's a little bit harder to get Tiny activated. Ricky's just like time-based activation, but Roger is like, if you have a bad game, you're not going to get your item, and then your game's incredibly hard.
It really makes me wonder how the game would have gone if they didn't lane swap. Like, imagine the TB is in that safe lane against this Mirana Primal Beast. He would just got crushed, right?
Yeah, I feel like it'd be even worse.
That would have been a rough one. But yeah, 1-1. Spirit fighting back. Let's see what Darkside have got left in the tank as we will take a quick break and come back with game number 3.